How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to my F2 2020 Championship, here for round 12 in Abu Dhabi for the championship deciding season finale between myself and Artem Markelov. So the first order of business is qualifying to try and get the 4 points for pole position and hopefully make the job for myself a bit easier in the actual races. So with qualifying started, let's see what we can do. And as we come into the final few turns of the lap, it's been a pretty okay lap. We come around the final turn. Armstrong is in the lead at the moment and he's going to stay there and get pole position. Myself coming across the line in P3. So as I said, Armstrong takes pole ahead of Matsushita with myself in third and crucially ahead of my championship rival Markelov, who's followed by Schwartzman, Sonoda, Lundgaard, Schumacher, Giotto, with Drugovic round out the top 10.
It's race day for our young drivers here in the United Arab Emirates, where the Yas Marina circuit is about to play host to the Abu Dhabi Formula 2 race. Let's get started. Yas Marina circuit is a 3.4-mile racetrack built on the man-made Yas Island. In addition to the 21 corners, it features 2 very long straights. Now these will be the drivers' main overtaking chances today, into turn 8 and turn 11.
So I don't usually do this, but looking at the driver standings going into this race, you can see I lead Markelov by 8 points, so need to outscore him by 9 points in this race to win the championship. But like any driver, I want to win the championship by hopefully winning the race. So as we're at the red lights for the feature race, the lights go out, and considering I'm on the super soft tyre, get a pretty poor start when the rest of the field is on the soft tyre. As into turn 1, Markelov has the inside line and he gets past me up into P3. Through turn 3 now, run a bit wide because of the dirty air and down into the chicane. Brake late and run a bit wide, have a bit of a lock up, and that compromised my run through the rest of the chicane. As Sonoda is right behind me now, through the hairpin, managed to get a pretty nice run and a good exit, so not really under any threat from behind for the moment. I'll skip forward now to the end of that straight, through the chicane, turn 8 and 9, run very wide on the exit onto the curb and then have a bit of wheel spin, a bit of a snap, and that allows Sonoda to get a better run on the inside, and the Carlin driver pulls ahead into the next chicane. He locks up and I brake a bit later, hold it around the outside, turns to the inside, then the outside again. I managed to hold the position ahead of Sonoda in P4. So not the best start, would have preferred to not be under as much pressure when fighting for the championship, as on the end of lap 2 set the fastest lap of the races. Jeff gives an alternate strategy which is the exact same as the original strategy, so just shows why you don't listen to him. As on the end of lap 4 now, we are going to pit from P4. and everyone else is going to go quite a bit longer on the harder tyre. I was actually surprised about everyone being on that strategy, but before the race the game did give the super soft strategy is the recommended, but I switched to super soft to soft because I thought some of the AI might have done that as well, but turns out that they didn't. Anyway, on lap 6 now, on the second DRS straight, you can see Christian Lundgaard retires, and that brings out the safety car. And this was actually brilliant for me because on lap 6, everyone else ahead, if they pit now, their super soft tyres won't go the 9 or 10 laps to the end of the race. As we start lap 7 now, you can see that I think it's Markelov, Armstrong and Tsunoda have pit from the leading positions onto the super softs, and they're going to have to pit again now because I know that those tyres won't go to the end. Anyway, on to the end of lap 8 now, towards the safety car restart, and really since I knew everyone ahead is going to have to make their pit stop and I'm effectively leading the race, I'm kind of taking it easy, not going to be taking too many risks to try and make up positions because I know I'll get them when the cars stop anyway. We're heading into turn 5 behind Artem, like a lot of occasions this season, get caught out by the car ahead braking so early, side by side through the second part of the chicane. I have the inside for the hairpin, you can see there Artem holding around the outside. I give him room on the exit, and with the softer tyre the ART driver gets a much better exit and pulls ahead on the straight. I try to get back into the slipstream, which I eventually managed to do, and down into turn 8, have the inside, brake later, almost hit the back of Markelov actually, but that means I got a bit held up, and Armstrong around the outside manages to hold the position with the inside line for turn 9. But heading now down the second DRS straight, you can see there Tsunoda still hanging with us as into the chicane. Armstrong locks up a bit, but I decide to stay behind for the time being. As now on lap 10 through the first sector, through turn 3, I get a very nice run compared to Armstrong, and we're gaining all the way down to turn 5. Take the inside line and brake a small bit later, give him room for the second part of the chicane, but even before the hairpin this time, managed to get ahead. He's still trying to hold it around the outside, this time squeeze him out a small bit and take the position ahead of the Kiwi. As on lap 11 now, same chicane, we're trying to get past the Lacey, take a very wide line to get a good exit, which we managed to do, and in the slipstream now and DRS on this straight, we're gaining all the time. He goes defensive, I take the outside brake very late, and you can see here, like earlier with me and Armstrong, Lacey gets a bit held up by the car ahead, Nisani, and that gives me more momentum through the chicane and managed to take the position. Skipping on to the end of lap 11 then, you can see a lot of cars have decided to take their pit stop, putting me up into P8, and on the very next lap then the rest of the cars pit as set the fastest lap of the race and move up into P1. So far it's couldn't really be going any better for me, as on lap 14 set a new fastest lap of the race, but just skipping a bit further ahead, Matsushita on the softer tyre takes the fastest lap from me. As you can see there, getting a 1:4 track limit, so even with a 14-second lead, still pushing and not really taking it easy even when I really could. But now skipping on to the last lap, through the hotel, coming into the final few turns, going to come across the line to take the win in this feature race, and with that we're going to win the Formula 2 World Championship.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserve that race win.
Our winning drivers then out onto the podium at the end of a thrilling race. The drama and excitement are over, and it's time to let it all sink in. Congratulations to our top 3 today.
So yeah, I take the win ahead of Matsushita with Giotto rounding out the podium, followed by Schwartzman, Drugovic, Schumacher, Ticktum, while the high-techs with Deruvla and Zhou rounding out the top 10, with Markelov finishing not even in the top 14. And looking at the driver standings then, you can see there 33 point lead with only 17 points available in the sprint race. And you can see there as well Virtuosi winning the team's championship with a 50 point lead from race lap. As we head now onto the sprint race, the 5 red lights are on, and as they go out, get a pretty poor start. We get jumped by Deruvla before we get into turn 1. And braking for turn 1, Zhou gets past me around the outside. So lose 2 positions so far on lap 1. Through turn 2 and turn 3, get a pretty nice run, staying close to our teammate. And on the run then down into the chicane, Zhou brakes, well I suppose he brakes where he needs. I get caught out a bit once again and have a very poor run through the chicane. Through the hairpin then, just trying to get a good exit, maybe try and challenge down into turn 8, but don't really get the best exit, as now just trying to make sure don't get overtaken by Savo behind. As down into turn 8 now, I brake pretty much where I usually do, maybe even a bit earlier, but the AI are so slow through some of these turns that I have to take avoiding action from hitting Zhou ahead, even though he was over half a second in front of me. But now, out of the chicane, we're well in the slipstream, and now Savo is trying to make a move on me, so that forces me to try and get past Zhou, because attack is the best form of defence. And into this triple chicane, we have the inside line for the last part of it, and we managed to get ahead of our teammate. Skipping ahead now on to the end of lap 4, you can see there Giotto peels into the pits because he started on the super soft tyre. You can also see there Schumacher does the same. So a few cars deciding to do a different strategy. You can also see there Matsushita ahead of us on the super soft tyre. And on to the end of lap 5 then, you can see the MP Motorsport driver making his pit stop, as we're well in the slipstream and DRS of Deruvla ahead. But at this time I actually thought that everyone ahead of myself and Deruvla were on the super soft tyre and we're going to have to make a pit stop. But obviously you can see on the top left Schwartzman is ahead of us and he's on the soft tyre, so he won't be making a stop, because I remember doing this race pretty late in the day and I don't think my brain was fully with it at the time, so didn't make the best decisions, and because of that I didn't really want to overtake Deruvla at the moment. I just decided to stay behind him for a while, and that really affected the overall result of this race, because I thought this was the battle for first and second when really it is only the battle for 5th and 6th. On lap 6 now, on the exit of the middle chicane separating the 2 straights, with the DRS and the slipstream into turn 11, we pull to the inside, brake later than the car at the inside line, and even before the second part of the chicane we've managed to get ahead of the Indian driver, as on the end of lap 6 then set a fastest lap of the race, and then again improve on that on the next lap. And on lap 9 now, this is actually my fastest lap of the race, and since not much happened in this sprint race, I'm going to let you look at the fastest lap that I did. So as we head through the final sector now, I just wanted to thank everyone who watched this series. I've really enjoyed doing it, so I hope you all enjoyed watching it as well, even if I did take a few weeks of a break towards the end. And it's really made me excited for the F2 Championship in Transnation Esports that will be starting in a few weeks. So if you want to watch that, make sure to subscribe, because I'll more than likely be streaming all my races. And just wanted to ask a question mainly in relation to qualifying. In this series I've just played the qualifying lap with no commentary over it, so I just wanted to know if you enjoyed that, or would it be better if I commented over qualifying laps and fastest laps like this one in the future for other league racing videos. So just leave a comment which one you prefer. And as we come around the final turn now, we're going to come across the line to set our new fastest lap of the race. And then skipping on to the end of the last lap of the season now, we managed to close into it in DRS of Schwartzman ahead, but too little too late this time. And as we come around the final turn, one of the high-techs wins the race, and we're going to finish off the season with a P5.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So one of the high-techs wins the race ahead of Dan Tickton, with Drugovich rounding out the podium, followed by Schwartzman, myself, Ruvla, Zhu with Sato rounding out the point scores in this race. Looking at the weekend standings then, I take the most points ahead of Matsushita, followed by Schwartzman, with Markelov not even scoring any points in this race, so not a great way to end the season after such a great battle all through it. And then looking at the driver standings, as we know, I win the championship ahead of Markelov by 41 points in the end. And in the team standings, Virtuosi win, and after all of that, Prema takes second place with Carlin rounding out the top 3. So anyway, that's all for this one. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, see you then.